Hello, everybody. What's going on? TCH Live Monday. I'm your host, Aaron McAvoy, stepping in the booth this evening. Got a special guest here with me tonight. We got Kristen. What's going on? How you doing?
Hey, excited to be here. My first time commentating on the stream.
Excellent. Well, very happy to have you in the mix. And we got a lot of our usual players here this evening for some 2-5 no limit hold'em with match the stack option. Everybody buying in for 2K max and as little as 200 if they would please themselves with a short buy. But looks like we've got a lot of chips out there right now, so most of the players exercising the large buy-ins, and we'll see these stacks growing over the course of the evening. Taking a look here in the chat, see who all is joining us so far. We've got Mo the Cat. What's going on? Skullbone, Poker Monkey, Frank. How y'all doing tonight? All right. So Kristen, I have played one tournament with you at this point, and you won that tournament. I got second, so that was a fun experience. What do you think about the game that we're playing here tonight, 2-5? Do you have much experience playing 2-5 cash or something like that?
I have a little experience playing 2-5. I played some this weekend, actually, and I definitely enjoy cash games. I don't play them nearly as much, more of a tournament player, but excited to see what the players have today.
Excellent. Well, we are going to start things off with a $10 PLO bomb pot. And also do want to apologize to everybody. We did have some technical difficulties here, obviously starting a little bit later than we intended, a little bit later than usual, as one of the main computer that runs the software was actually just refusing to speak with the internet gods, and just, had to go on timeout, and we got things working with a sort of kludge, but here we are, up and running. All right, not sure if we have perhaps a little bit more technical difficulties. I do know that we have a deck change at some point here, as I think we had one card not reading, something of that nature, but bear with us. We'll get things going here in just a moment. So have you played on a live stream table before?
I have never played on a live stream table.
Okay. It's a lot of fun. Like, I will say that the first time that I did it, it was very sort of, I was very nervous because, you're going to be on camera, everyone's going to get to see your hands. And then after, even just a few hours into the first one, I realized this is still just the same game. Like, we're literally just playing the same game.
Did you forget you were on camera at that point?
I didn't forget that I was on camera, but it became much less of a distraction. Right, so at first it was like I kept thinking about, oh my God, are people going to think that I was too nitty or too aggressive or whatever? And then after a little while, those thoughts were no longer in my brain. It was just about how to play the best poker. And everybody's going to have a different reaction to it, but I would highly recommend it. So hopefully we'll get you in the mix here at some point.
Definitely. I'm excited to see what people think of my play. Right now I feel like I'm very shrouded. All the things that I do.
Okay, all right. We've got a couple of players here flopping the flush on top. Board is going to pair now, which is going to be a little bit of a fright to Sang here, going by Sangito this evening, as the graphics there are wigging out a little bit on the boards.
High pair on the bottom board as well, right?
Yeah.
Oh, ace. I see the ace.
Yeah, Optimized here working with a pair of aces and an inferior kicker on bottom. And with this run out, Prestige is looking at scooping. Aces and nines as well as threes full on top. And yeah, this is pretty much a nightmare run out here for Optimize. Sangito not going to love it either, but this is actually a good one for him as he'll be able to get away from this. Yeah, and whenever you have a spot like this where it's like you just lose to any pocket pair, even if your opponent isn't technically proud of their pocket fours or something, and they're actually betting their hand on the other board, you're still going to lose to it. So I understand the fold there. Sangito, of course, going to do the same, and Prestige will take this one down for a nice little chip up on hand number one.
What a way to start.
Yeah, absolutely. Always nice to scoop the first one, and for $500, let's go. Poker Monkey here in the chat wants to know who is doing the commentary with me. This is Kristen.
Hi, Poker.
So, yeah, we're going to move our way on to the No Limit Texas Hold'em at this point. Well, I already see the 10 and the $20 straddle coming out, so love to see it. All right, this is the deck change that I was talking about, so we'll get this one swapped out. Hopefully no issues with the next one. So let's see, have you tuned into the TCH Live in the past?
I have watched it a couple of times.
Okay.
It looks like you have a point system. I haven't noticed that yet.
Yes, I was going to ask you if you have built up a stack of points yet or not. Obviously, we've got a couple of players here with a lot of points.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah. Some of these players have been around since the early days of TCH Live when getting your hands on literal millions of points was a thing. Nowadays, it's a little bit tougher to do that.
What kind of benefits come with these points?
You get to blast them into the poker sphere with gambles.
Okay.
Just for fun. That's about it.
Nice. So you get more points? I mean, is this the best way to get to 1 million points now, or?
Well, so it's basically the only way. But yeah, you gamble them, and it's basically just like a flip as to whether or not you double up or lose your chips, lose your points. And then it is actually weighted a little bit in your favor, because if you roll like a 100, a 99, or a 98 or something, it's like 5x's your points. So there's like a little bit of juice there if you get lucky. But yeah, it used to be that you could gamble more points, or there was something that people were abusing. I don't know exactly what it is. Now it's capped at 10,000 per spin.
Got it. And bragging rights apparently is the.
That's right. I have the most internet points. Get out of my way. All right, Fish Cake here, otherwise known as Flounder, is going to go ahead and make the call here. We're going to go heads up to a flop. Big blind versus straddle. Kevin here with the betting lead first to act.
I know.
Very innocuous flop here. Not a good one for the 9-8 of diamonds, but Kevin here with the overcards and the betting lead. Let's see if he continues.
Gut shot as well.
Fish Cake has the gut shot and the backdoor. Certainly he can continue. Let's see if he plays this just as a call. No, it is time to raise. I actually like this. This low board not going to connect with Kevin's range very well, and Fish Cake, of course, can have all kinds of stuff. And he'll just take that one down. No further actions required.
To answer your question, Poker Monkey, I am not the dealer with the sunglasses.
Oh, yes. No, that's Carly. Carly just had her baby, which I'm sure some of you all were aware that she is was just about due. And as of just a couple of days ago, I think it was, or better part of a week, perhaps, she's a proud new mama.
No.
With our other dealer, dealer Jeremy. So congratulations to them on their new family. Mike L here playing what I've just learned is one of your favorite hands.
It is.
7 deuce.
I'm surprised you laid it down, honestly.
Yeah, it's got a lot of power. At least it's got, you know, sort of pain-inducing power when you beat someone with the 7 deuce. Not usually going to play very well, but
Definitely very strong against the pocket jacks.
and the king queen here from Kevin, raising this up to 120. And Prestige here in the straddle, ace 10. Oh yeah, he's going nowhere. So I'll make the call. And let's see here, Dudley looks to be just making a call. Not going to go for a re-raise here and isolate. Does have the button, so has that benefit working for him. We're going to go 3 ways here to a flop. King high, all hearts. Kevin here out of position against the field is going to check his top pair.
What a scary board.
Yeah, the monotone boards are never easy to navigate, especially when you're out of position. But I am a little bit curious that he didn't put a little bet out there. A lot of times you'll see that where it's just kind of a small bet, something like quarter pot, maybe even 1/5 pot, just because if someone has missed this with just like ace 10 with no heart, right, they just kind of like, ugh, like this hand is just crap, and they fold it, and you get all that equity cleared out. Whereas in this situation, going to have checks over to Dudley on the button, and he will bet the jack of hearts. Sitting here, giving it a little bit of a think before he puts in the call. And we're going to go heads up to a turn. Four of clubs does nothing for Dudley. Yeah, it would be odd if Kevin switched it up to start betting here on this four of clubs. Dudley here will take a free river card, needs a jack or a heart. That 10 is not going to do it. So Kevin will win if we get to showdown. 7:15 in the middle. I'd like to see a little block bet here from Kevin. Not sure if he will go for it or just check and allow Dudley the opportunity to potentially bluff at it.
Here comes the bet.
One bet, 235.
Yeah, nice little 1/3 block size here from Kevin. And going to be tough for Dudley to get away from this, but at the same time, it looks super value-y. Like if you had just like the naked ace of hearts, are you really just going to bet 235? Probably not. You're going to go big, right? Represent the flush, represent some sort of two pair or something. But Dudley is lining up a call. Tell he's uncomfortable about it though. James here in the chat says scary board. Absolutely right. And when you have effective second pair and your opponent has gone check call, check check turn, and is now leading out for the small size, it's like, who do I really beat? But he's going to put the call in, and Kevin will take this down to the tune of 1,200 in there. Nice little pot there for Kevin on hand number 3.
Do jacks ever hold?
You know, I've seen it happen on occasion, but it does feel like jacks are oftentimes on the wrong side of things. That is for sure. Certainly a whole sort of cult following out there, people that just hate jacks, like with a passion, and don't even want to get them. They're like, just keep that away from me. It's almost as much as ace queen. You know, ace queen O seems to just really drive people bananas.
Which hand would you rather have?
Say what?
Which hand would you rather have?
Oh, give me jacks all day. Absolutely. How about you?
I mean, I'll take ace queen.
Really?
Gotta rep the ladies.
Okay. Well, you get one lady in that mix. But
I mean,
you're hoping to find more.
of course, of course. I mean,
and then turn my little jacks into, you know, scrubs. Wow, what do you know? Mike L here with jacks. Next hand.
all right, second chances.
Indeed, we'll see if Mike put them to better use. He's going to raise it up to 60 here. We do have the $20 straddle on.
Now, do you do button straddles here?
No button straddles allowed here at TCH in Austin. I'm not sure if they're allowed at any of the other TCH locations. I know not in Dallas, but I'm not exactly sure if that is an across-the-board thing. But certainly here in Austin and Dallas, we do not allow it. Only in front of the button. But you can straddle as much as you want. So, you know, you could be under the gun, and it could be 2-5, and you could put in $1,000 if you wanted to.
Have you seen it before?
Definitely have. I'll be happy to talk about that here in a moment. As Prestige went for the 3-bet pre-flop with the 6-5 of diamonds. Makes it 150. Mike calls. Here we are on the flop. Prestige C-bets 125. And Mike L basically clicking this with the overpair. And Prestige on the dummy end of the straight here. If he hits an 8, he'll have the bottom end of the 10 high straight. But he is going to make the call. That looks like another diamond, a deuce of diamonds, if I'm not mistaken. It's going to improve him to a flush draw to go along with he gut shot. Check, check, though, and a king of hearts. So Prestige bricks out. Mike L will win if we get to showdown, but Prestige, I've played with this man many times before, and he does not slow down. In fact, he's just all in. He's covering Mike, so Mike the effective stack at 850. This is a little bit under a pot-sized bet then.
This is very scary with the king on the board.
Yeah, I mean, the king shouldn't really change that much unless Prestige had exactly like King X of spades, right? Because, like, what other kings are in there? Yes, Mike finds the call. He has played with Prestige before, knows that Prestige is capable of this, and says, what kings do you have? What better hands do you have? You check the turn. Just doesn't make a lot of sense. And Mike will ship a $2,600 pot here on hand number 4.
What a scoop.
823.
As we get the stacks counted down and Mike doubled up, Paul here in the chat says that's close to a mandatory 4-bet pre-flop there, talking about the previous hand with the jacks for Dudley. I tend to agree with you. This was an open on the button and then a 3-bet out of the blind, right? I definitely agree with you. I think in that configuration, exactly, pocket jacks is way too far up in the range and beating so much of the small blinds 3-betting range that 4-bet is going to be definitely the way to go. So I tend to agree with you, Paul. But, you know, calling in position with a big pocket pair, it can always be a nice way to sort of balance out everything and give you a lot of post-flop playability as well. So just a tough run out there for sure.
And when it's heads up, it becomes a little less scary as well. So I could see a call being reasonable.
The 3-way action, though, is the challenging part of that, right? Because Prestige cold called out of the straddle position. And so that actually adds a lot of dead money. So even if you just 4-bet, knowing that your opponents will just snap fold, it is a win, right? Because you just get to pick up like $250 for free. So I definitely tend to agree with that. Going 3 ways with jacks is pretty scary from that perspective. All right, but onwards and upwards. Hand at number 5 coming at you. We do have the $10 straddle on, I guess. Okay, yes, we do have the 2, 5, 10 mandatory $10 straddle on, and then the people mixing in the 20s here and there. All right, but we can go 4 ways to this flop. King high hits optimize. Things only getting better for him as he picks up a diamond draw here on the turn. Chris, the only other player with a piece of this, has a gut shot to the wheel. Weighing his options, and looks like he may be coming in for a raise, which he does.
250, 9-fold, 3-fold.
Gutsy move for sure, but these two players commanding a couple of the deeper stacks at the table, so applying some pressure and still has plenty of room to work on the turn if he, or on the river if he does get called, which of course Optimize does indeed call.
Got to be feeling great with the king high plus the flush draw.
Yeah, your kicker's certainly not going to be that inspiring, but here we are on the end. All of the draws miss, and the second card pair is really tough to put your opponent on any kind of 10x holding. So Optimize there. Probably happy to go for the check and call of any bet size, but Chris shuts it down, doesn't go for it. And I think had either a club or a diamond come, Chris would have gone for it, having the club and the diamond in his hand. Didn't necessarily need to hit the 5 to really put the bets out there on the end, but as it stands, you know, that 10, just really not a good card to bluff, so I like the shutdown there for sure. All right, we've got SL buying in here into the 6th seat, so we do have a new player joining us. We had a spot available.
Sometimes.
Untight. Sitting down in the straddle is SL. Mike L, first act, going to raise this up to 25. And Dudley with the jacks again.
110. One fold.
Jacks are hot.
Yeah. Well, they've got one win, one loss, and Dudley's back in the streets with them.
Oh, now we get to see how they do against the ace queen.
Yeah, fish cake in here. Flounder with the tens. Another ace queen just went in the muck, though, so not looking too hot here for Mike L with the ace queen. All right, well, obviously you've got the ace queen, even though you know the ace queen has already missed some outs, but I think Dudley is going to pull out the win here. 350, just about in the middle, comes king high.
7 check.
2 spades.
9 check.
Checky, checky. Yeah, fish cake here in position. When checked to,
115.
why not? Just put a little 1/3 bet out there and see if everybody gets out of your way.
Call.
Mike L. Backdoor spade flush opportunities. And the Broadway backdoor, but jacks go into the muck immediately there. So Jack's already down. Fish cake well out in front as we're sort of getting a little hiccup on our stream here, but hopefully y'all are still getting the feed just fine and dandy. All right, King of Clubs now on the turn. Mike L and Fish Cake doing battle on the turn. Bet a 175 here from Fish Cake. That king is a great card for him, obviously. Makes it a lot harder for Mike to have one.
7 fold.
And it is time to surrender. Fish Cake going to take this one down
Take it, take it.
to 750. What do you think about that arrangement? If you had pocket jacks there as sort of the man in the middle.
I definitely think a fold is reasonable. I'd probably go to the turn just to see what's out there. After seeing the second king, I'd probably feel a lot better about it.
Yeah.
But a lot of times it's really hard being out of position and playing it through. So I definitely could see the fold.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree. I think also Dudley may have had a different result had he just continuation bet the flop. There's one overcard. Obviously, king's going to make up a decent portion of your opponent's calling ranges, right? You can see some king queens out there, some king 10 suiteds, whatever, things of that nature. But like ace king is kind of out of the question because nobody re-raised. So you're probably only fading a couple of different combinations of king X. And, you know, had he bet 1/3, Fish Cake probably just calls, and then back over to Mike L, who has, you know, his backdoors. Maybe he just calls. But that's a little bit of a different situation going into that board pairing king on the turn. Right now you're like, I don't know if these guys have anything. It might just be flush draws and other small pairs or middling pairs, right? But it's not to be.
8 bet.
And here we are on hand number 7. Ace high flop multi-way.
3 call.
Top
5
2
fold.
for prestige.
6 fold, 7 fold.
Just going to call the lead from Sangeetho. And what was very nearly 0 equity on the flop is now exactly 0 equity on the turn here for Sang.
Are we feeling a bluff coming here?
I mean, Sang's certainly a creative player, someone who is not afraid to, you know, sort of put the gas down and keep it down. This is starting to get a little bit weird when Prestige calls now, as it's just really tough to find any, like, one pair holdings that are going to call 2 streets and then fold river, right? Now it's a top full house here.
Prestige with a monster.
Yeah, saying, realizing that things have not gone his way here, getting a fold on flop or turn. So he'll just check and give it up. Prestige here going to go for the max,
3 bet.
presumably.
300.
Oh, middling size here, about 2/3. Saying here, just going to posture a little bit, presumably. And let it go. Yeah, I like the idea. These ace-high boards definitely going to favor you. You can bet small on flop and then sort of size it up with really any two cards, just because if your opponent doesn't have an ace, they're just going to be like, I'm just punting money at this point. He's going to have ace X so often. But at the same time, when you get called, you're like, I guess it's probably time to stop doing this.
You need me to make your coffee cup? Don't fade to black over there, man.
So here we go. On to the next one.
You know, I'm
$10 straddle on Dudley first act here with suited one gapper.
one, and I'm only going to have one all week, each game.
9 fold.
And then I'm
Do you have a favorite hand?
1 fold.
A little pet hand besides the 7 deuce? We've already covered that one, I guess.
I like Jack 7. Jack 7 I feel like is a really good bluffing hand because you have cards on both sides of, you have the high card, you have the low card, you have a lot of blockers, especially if it's suited. I feel really good about playing it, and so a lot of times I'll play Jack 7.
Okay, interesting.
all those brain cells fire. So I know
Yeah,
all
Jack
the buttons.
7. I would say that Jack 7 tends to, yes, offer plenty of those opportunities because you have at least one card that kind of interacts with the board in some way, shape, or form. But yeah, it's tough to make like a really good hand that you feel really good about with Jack 7.
It
you
is.
know?
It is.
That's also
8 call.
But when it does hit and you hit that straight, you get paid every single time.
Mike L here betting flop, getting called by Singito here with the 2 cards. Sorry, the gut shot and the 1 over card. Mike L now picking up the top pair on the turn and blasts it for 400. Massive over bet here. Take this one down.
Thank you.
Way North Drones joining us here in the chat. Good afternoon to you, good sir. Or lady.
After this hand,
Welcome
it'll
to
be
the
a
show. I'm your host, Aaron McAvoy. Joining me tonight is Kristen. Tell me your last name.
Brotherton.
Brotherton. Okay, Kristen Brotherton joining me here in the commentary booth this evening. About 100 of you fine folks hanging out with us right now. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and welcome if you have just arrived. Did have a little bit of a late start due to some technical difficulties, but so far so good.
What about you?
Hopefully it'll stay
1
that way.
fold. 2.
What is your favorite hand?
So, you know, cliched, pocket aces, whatever, yada yada. Other than that, I do love me a good suited connector. So the old 8-7 suited tickles my fancy pretty good. Yeah, 9-10 suited and 8-7 suited, I think, are probably my 2 sort of favorite off aces hand. Larry Way Out wants to know if I played on stream last week. No, I didn't play last week. In fact, it's actually been probably a solid like 2-3 weeks or so since I've played on the live stream. Just sort of a combination of different things going on that I haven't gotten in the mix, but hoping to do so here pretty soon.
3 call. 4 fold.
Fish cake with the gut shot flush draw.
Chris here,
5. Bet.
gonna come in for a raise with the pocket sixes. Facing a bet and a call in between. This is a little bit of an ambitious play, I would say. The pocket sixes, no spade. Certainly going to be the best hand a lot of the time as it is right now, but at the same time, building a pot is a little bit dangerous because there's so many texture changing cards that can come on the turn and or river. And yeah, when you've already seen players sort of interested in the pot up front, the prospect of them just like folding to a single raise is kind of low. Does get one of the better cards in the deck to peel off though, an offsuit 5 pairing the middle card. Shouldn't be a ton of those out there. The 5-6s of the world, he sort of blocks pretty hard. Of course the 5, both 5s out there are diamonds and hearts, same as his hand, so there are still actually 5-6 suited of clubs and spades available. Bet a 500 though after getting checked to, and this is going to take the pot down for a tidy little profit of 677 there. So good result for Chris, definitely. Pretty fortunate turn card there.
All right, ball pots,
Well
everybody, $10, please.
Middling pairs always feel good with open-ended right there, blocking a lot of people from hitting what they need.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Yeah, it's a lovely hand, and people will definitely play things differently. I remember there was certainly a time when I would have played it in the more aggressive line like that too. And sometimes, I mean, you know, that was a very good example of just like, all right, if the turn card comes clean,
Yeah, Aaron's back.
we're able to just sort of bet and probably expect
Shut
to
it
win,
down,
right?
yeah.
Because like people will see a flush draw with 2 cards to come in a much different light as a flush draw with 1 card to come. So build the pot up front, you brick the turn, or you know things look good for you, then you're just going to take down a bigger pot with your bet then. So that certainly feels nice. The flip side of that is that I've had it happen to me on numerous occasions where you do go for that raise. The turn just changes things a lot, and you know, at best it like checks to you, and you're just like, okay, I check, and then somebody's gonna bet the river, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, that's not the worst result either. You know, everybody's gonna play a different style and different strategies.
My body feels 8 check, 9 check.
Bunch of middle cards here on these boards for our $10 PLO bomb pot.
90, 3, 5.
Get everybody's hands scanned in, and looks like Prestige here gonna pot it for $90.
6 fold. 7 fold.
Optimize is gonna make the call here. He's got the nut flush draw on top and up and down straight draw on bottom. Pretty strong holdings for
7 fold, 8
Optimize.
fold. 9 fold. 1 fold, 2 fold. All right. heads up.
Everybody else out of the way, and we're gonna go heads up to a turn. Prestige here working with some straight draws of his own and the flop straight on bottom.
That is all that matters.
Spade flush comes in on bottom though. That's gonna be a little bit of a deterrent here for Prestige potentially.
Either card really helps either player, though.
Yeah, Prestige here. Not going to slow down. 125. And Optimize here. Not loving life.
Lays it down.
Yeah, I mean, it makes some sense, right? Like, if Prestige just made the spade flush on bottom, like, he's just free-rolling Optimize to half the pot, right? And Optimize still needs to improve on top to even have anything other than his pocket pair of 8s, which, you know, how could that be good? So pretty reasonable fold there. Prestige just going to go ahead and scoop that one for the middling bet. So good play there. So have you played poker in any other state or pretty much exclusively here in Texas?
I've actually played poker in quite a few states, even being a new player. I have played in Ohio, Nevada, California, Montana.
Montana, okay.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah, my first hand of poker was actually played in Montana.
Oh, nice. Okay. What has your experience been in terms of, you know, like how does Texas poker hit you?
Oh, it's the best.
It's the best.
It's
right?
the best.
That's the answer I expected to hear, but I played certainly in Nevada and in California as well. Outside of that, I mean, I've traveled to many places outside of those areas to play tournaments, but haven't really delved into the cash scene very much because it's usually to go for like a series or something. But yeah, cash game styles from state to state just vary so dramatically.
They really do. And the side games, whether it's high card or bomb pots, definitely change the way people play as well. The different types of straddling.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, a lot of straddling here in Texas. That is something that certainly happens more frequently than I've seen anywhere else.
4-bet 80.
What about side games?
So when you say side game, do you mean like
Seven deuce?
like on orbit?
On orbit, yeah. If you win with seven deuce, kind of prop bet.
I'm a big fan of the 7 deuce game. I think it got overplayed for a little while, but by and large, I think anything that adds another layer to the game, something that forces the players to kind of adapt to, I think is great.
Oh, I did. I played in Malta as well.
Wow. Okay, Malta. Let's finish up this hand here real quick as Sangeeta goes from last place to first place here on the turn 4 of spades, picking up a set. Optimize here with top, and a gut shot. Gets buried in the basement, but still going to think his hand is best. SL picks up an up and down straight draw as well, so he may be inclined to continue. His hand got real spicy real quick. That 4 of spades came out of nowhere. SL makes the call. And now over to Sang here. And how do you play this? Definitely standard operating procedure is going to be go for a big raise. Let's see if he takes that line or not.
Here it comes.
875. 4 fold.
Quick fold there from Optimize with the top. And yeah, this looks really strong. Like,
it
you're
does.
betting into 2 players that have already put in $275. Ugh. And SL is getting a fantastic price. Look at this. He's getting 25% pot equity required to make this call. Problem is, like, if your hand improves, it's a 1-liner to a straight out there. And are you going to get paid any more? So pretty much just bang on, do you have 25% equity with your hand right now is the question he has to answer. And we can see that that answer is no, but we also know the cards that have been folded. So you can certainly imagine that you're like, well, I have 4 aces, 4 sixes, and a couple of 5s. That's 10 outs. Divide that into 44, blah, 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 do some math, carry the 1. You're getting just about the right price, but let's see if SL finds the fold or comes along for the ride.
Coming along for the ride.
Yeah, so Sangeeta here going to need to fade an ace, 6, or 5. We can see that there are only 4 of those remaining. And SL get bailed out.
Oh.
Not. 9 of hearts. Sangeeta here going to be first to act. Stack to pot ratio well under 50%. And of course, he'll just jam it in.
And there's the fold.
Yeah, that's one of those tough spots where you're just about getting the right price, and you're going to be in position. Like, I don't know, it just, yeah. Oh, that's tough. That's a tough one.
I mean, you could. You can do anything you want.
Those are some of the most frustrating hands,
Agreed.
honestly, because you know that you don't want to play because, like, you're like, dude, I'm just, like, totally toast here. Like,
Yeah.
I know I'm totally toast here. And at the same time, I could win still.
Yeah. It's a risk worth taking, especially in a cash game.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's certainly borderline. We wouldn't have faulted him for the fold,
Oh,
right?
no, definitely not.
All right, well, SL going to have to brush that one off as we move on to the next hand. Hand number 12, $10 straddle is on.
4 fold. 5 fold. 6 fold. 7 bet, 40.
Nice little hand here from Mike L with the suited king queen.
He didn't say that.
8 fold. 9 fold.
Sang still racking up, or still stacking up those chips, I should say, from his previous win there. He's going to make the call with king 3 suited.
2 fold.
Fish cake is going to come along as well, and here we go, 3 players to a flop. Clubs would be spicy.
Yes, it would. I can feel it. Here comes the jack. Oh, no jack. Still a really great spot to be in, open-ended.
Yeah, not too bad here. Would love to see a club out there, but at the same time, Beggars can't be choosers. And plenty of opportunities here to still go after this pot for fish cake. Facing this C-bet from Mike L and a call from Sang. Pretty juicy spot to go for the check raise if you're fish cake, but he is just going to take off a turn. 9 of hearts. Changes nothing. Still just going to be a pair of threes out in front here for Sang. Mike L not going to take his foot off the gas. 150 into 350 here. 2/3 sizing, and that'll get the pair to fold. Fish cake, though, is just going to make this call out of position. Needs to hit to improve, and that is not the card he wanted to see.
Definitely not.
Honestly, I feel like, well, actually, I was going to say Mike just gives this up and wins with the king high, but I've seen him triple barrel many times before, and yeah, here we go. I'm not surprised with this either.
And there it goes.
Yeah. It's a little tickle there for half pot on the end with the king high. Let's go, Mike. Take it down. So we were speaking earlier, and you mentioned that you're relatively new to the game. You've sort of been taking it a little bit more seriously here in just about the last year. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. How have you found it in terms of like getting comfortable with different spots and learning how to bluff and really, you know, navigating the nuanced parts of the game as you've gotten a little bit more experience with it?
Definitely. I feel like there's some hands that I struggle with, King Queen being one of them. I find it's a kind of a challenging hand to play at times. Also, middle pairs seem to be really challenging too. But overall, I think whenever I find those weak points, I just focus in, watch people play those hands, and it's really helped me improve a lot. So.
Yeah. Do you consume a lot of online poker, or not online, like live stream poker, or participate in like coaching, anything of that nature?
I do. I've worked with a coach a few times. I talk hands with a lot of people. I definitely will watch highlight clips from streams a lot of times, especially tournament play. I love watching some of the professionals, Bill Ivy, one of my favorites. Yeah, definitely love watching the live play.
Cool. Yeah, I love watching the big tournament live streams as well. The Poker Go Cup was running, I don't know what, in the last month and a half or something like that. And just incredible to see these guys playing 10K, 25K, 50K buy-in tournaments, and just everybody operating at such a high level. And the amount of focus and preparation and study that goes into being able to consistently attack those spots in the way that they do is really pretty impressive and inspiring.
It definitely is. And seeing them play hands where I would believe that I have nothing, and just understanding, you know, board texture and how that plays into it and potentially what your opponent has. It's really a game changer to be able to see that and witness how they tackle it.
Absolutely. So Chris here putting on the $20 straddle pre, gets raised by fish cake out of the small blind, makes the call with the 5-4-0. We get to this queen high board, fish cake will c-bet, and yeah, 5-4 can only defend so far. This is not the board to keep on doing it, so he'll get out of the way. So let's see, we got the summertime, not too far away. We've got WSOP out in Vegas coming up, and you said that last year you did go and play at the WSOP, right?
I did. I think I played my 3rd tournament ever at WSOP last summer.
Hell yeah, that's the way to do it. Just jump straight
Just go big.
into the deep end. Yeah. You played the ladies event?
The ladies
did you play
event.
Any other events,
yeah.
or just that one?
I did the ladies event. I did the $1 Million Bounty, the mystery bounty.
Oh, very cool. Yeah.
And I did the mini main.
Cool.
Yeah.
I played the $1 Million Mystery Bounty. Did not make it anywhere close to the money in that one.
I was actually really close to making it today too.
Really?
It's probably my 5th tournament ever. Yeah, and I think I was in the last level before the end of the day.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That would have been cool.
I was sitting right next to Martin Cabral as well. And
Okay.
we actually busted same hand.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Do you have plans to go out there and play this summer?
I will be playing this summer, yeah.
Excellent. All
Will you be
right.
out there?
I definitely intend on being out there. I have been putting off looking at the schedule and really, you know, trying to figure it out because there's a lot of tournaments in between now and there that I'm going to focus on first. I know that I do need to kind of do it probably by mid-March to April just because, you know, you start missing out on some of the rooms or Airbnbs or whatever that are close to the venue. So I do need to do that at some point. But as of right now, I'm just kind of focusing on the more immediate future. But definitely plan on being out there, and I'm very much looking forward to it.
This is a very interesting board with the set.
Yeah, I mean, I think Dudley here checking the flop was just like, all right, someone else is going to, like, bet. And then the 7 comes off. And this is just, like, the worst card ever for him. And
So
nobody ever bet. So now he's just...
Am I good?
He's bluff catching, but at the same time, like, it's fine because you're bluff catching with a hand that is just super strong. You're never folding. He's going to win this pot and get $100 that he probably would have not have gotten had he played it more aggressively. So it's going to work out for him, but yeah, I mean, that's always the worst when you're like, ooh, we're going to tricky trap. Oh my God, what is that turn? What is that river? What happened to my hand?
Not like this.
Yeah.
I heavily meditated.
Yeah, so WSOP, such a great time. You, having just gone last year, got in on the very first and for the foreseeable future venue, of course, being the Horseshoe and Paris. So you missed out on the days of the Rio.
I did.
I'm happy for you.
Yeah.
You didn't miss much.
I've heard really great stories from the Rio, though.
I mean, yes. Like, don't get me wrong. That was my first experience. I don't go so far back as Binion's or
It's hard on that
wherever
run out.
else it was held. I guess
And
it
you're
was
just
like
hoping you're
Binion's,
good.
which was Old Horseshoe or something like
You're not
that.
even excited.
And then it was at the Rio for the longest time. So I was always just a Rio guy. Definitely do have fond memories of it, as fond as you can with a place like that. It was just kind of, I don't know. It's got a funk. It's got a special funk, but fond memories. Had a lot of great times there. Certainly can't complain about it. But I was pleased with the way that things ran at the new venue. Of course, there were some hiccups. Of course, there were a few things to try to iron out for this time around. But I overall thought it was pretty good.
So you think year 2 even better?
It certainly better be. If they have the same hiccups that happened last time, I'm going to be like, all right, listen, bros, like, come on, get with the program. You guys had a full year, had a lot of people in here, right? Like, you should be able to work out the kinks. So I'm optimistic. I think it'll be good.
All right. So curious, late reg lines from last year. You think they're still going to be about the same?
So I was actually talking with someone about this. As let's just quickly wrap up this hand. Got Sang here betting the turn. Mike calling with just the king high. If he thought he was good on the turn, he's not going to hate this river. Yeah, he's actually going to bet here. A little bit curious as what calls you, like queen high. Does that really call you? But he's going to win the pot nonetheless. The late reg lines. So that's a thing that has plagued the WSOP ever since like poker became popular back in like the early 2000s, right? There's got to be a way to motivate and inform, I guess it's inform and then motivate players to use the tournament buy-in account, which is like the by far, hands down, this is my little PSA for everybody. That is the only way to do WSOP in Vegas. Load up your tournament buy-in account after you wait in the one line the one time. Put all of the money in that you're willing to spend on tournaments into the account, and then you can buy all of your buy-ins to get your tickets online, or sorry, you buy it online on your phone, and then you go to the kiosk and you print. It's the only way. Standing in that line more than one time is just an absolute travesty upon humanity, and it shouldn't happen. But they do, I should say, they have done a very poor job of informing people about it. And there should be an incentive other than just not raking you at 3% on your buy-ins. It should be like, load up your tournament buy-in account for, you know, over 5K or something. We'll give you $50. Like just something trivial, just to give somebody a little bit of a taste of what they could have. Anyways, that's my little mini rant. How do you feel about that? Did you use the tournament buy-in account?
I did use the tournament buy-in account. It was significantly better. I think my only qualm was my Caesar's card kept losing its magnetism, so I'd have to go reprint my card over and over again. But outside of that, it was definitely the way to go.
Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, that definitely sucks. That sucks when that happens to your room key, you know, or whatever, too. But at least the mechanism is in place for you to dramatically the speed at which you get through those lines back into a seat playing poker. Yeah, what I would say is one of the tricky things that I found was having the two different venues, right? You've got the Horseshoe Valley side, and then you've got the Paris side, and they're separated by such a distance that I would have to just like flip a coin, walk in, because I was staying outside of either of those two locations, so I would walk in the front doors of the Horseshoe Valleys, right? And then I would just have to decide like which row of printers, like kiosks, am I going to go to, and just hope that I print off the one, or that I get a seat at that venue, right?
Yeah.
They should have a bunch of the kiosks in between, so that you just walk into like the Horseshoe or whatever, and there's just a bank of kiosks that you don't have to walk all the way back to the damn room before you find kiosks. Because I'll tell you, several times I went all the way back there, I printed it off, and it was like, cool, go to Paris. I'm like, damn it, like this could have saved me like 5 minutes of walking. Now, is that the biggest deal? No, it's not. But that would be one thing that would improve.
Definitely. It was quite a trek from Paris to Valleys, or Horseshoe now.
Yeah, and I also think, I remember at the beginning of the series, there was like there was a gal sort of standing in front of the entrance, had a sign that was sort of like this way to WSOP. That was very helpful. She was gone after like a couple weeks. Like, there are still new players coming, and there are still people that haven't been playing this from the beginning that are going to be like, where the hell do I go? Because those ballrooms are all the way in the back, past the towers.
Not easy to find at all.
Yeah, so I think they could do a little bit better job of pointing players towards the actual ballrooms as well. But you know, all of this stuff is ideally going to be improved upon this year. Let us know in the chat what you thought about WSOP if you were there last year, and how you thought it compared to the good old Rio. We look at the earnings here. Mike L, our biggest winner as of right now, up nearly 2K. Sang up 500. Kevin 400. Everybody else up just a tad or stuck to the tune of 500 to 1,000. SL here stuck the most after that one big hand with the up and down on the turn, not making improvement on the river. James Presley here in the chat says we got lost looking for those ballrooms. Yeah, no, I'm not surprised, honestly, because there's literally nothing that would make you think that that's the hallway you should go down.
Nothing.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, you've got the main pit floor. There's like that little sports bar thing over there, and then there's like this like alleyway that kind of looks like, well, maybe it's down there, and then you end up over at Paris, and maybe that's where you wanted to be anyways. But like, you wouldn't have never thought to go down that weird back alleyway.
Definitely.
To get to the Horseshoe.
I was actually super fortunate because I came to the series late, and a number of vloggers had actually made videos of where to find food, where the bathrooms were, best place to go during break. And so it was really helpful watching those going into it.
Nice. All right, Sang here with the best hand, just king high, but optimized and put out a bet. And yeah, tough to continue here. No diamond in hand, you're saying. Even if you think your hand is best, how do you hold on for multiple streets of betting?
Especially coming in from the low jack, we're looking very possible to have an ace in hand. We have blockers from Optimize. Yeah.
Just to see that. I had outs with the hand.
I had nut low and also out, so you know. Let's see. So you said you like the low ball game.
I do.
Okay. Not a lot of people play the low ball game anymore. That was like, you know, you had the 7-card stud, and people would play Raz and things of that nature. And it all kind of just got replaced by No Limit Hold'em. Now PLO is like sort of question mark taking over the scene, but not
Kind
really.
of. I feel like it's really confusing compared to most of the low games, low card games.
Razes? Is that what you said?
I think no. PLO is a lot more confusing.
Oh, okay.
So I'm surprised at the popularity just because of how hard they are to play.
Yeah, I mean, I guess. Well, there's two sides of it, right? It's
Sure.
harder to play well, but it's easier to just like make a real hand, right? Because
Yes.
I've got 4 cards, and like, yeah, I got a full house, and like you might not have the best full house, but like you've got a full house, and if you played Hold'em, you know, you get a full house like a couple times in a session maybe, and you feel pretty good about it. In PLO, it's happening all the time.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, I've never hit quads more than in PLO.
Absolutely right. So, you know, I think that's certainly part of the draw. All right, this hand getting pretty spicy as there is something for everybody here. Sang with the pocket pair of queens getting outflopped by Optimize, but SL and Kevin both with draws.
I'm secretly hoping for the 4.
I was going to say the same thing. SL's already out of the way.
no.
He's not going to go chasing the wheel again. You know, it bit him once. He's not going to do it again. Kevin here with the gutty and the diamonds, though. Certainly don't expect him to be folding. Sang does make the call over there with the queens. Let's see how Kevin attacks this spot. Or if he just takes a turn for the 1.5.
I'm still hoping for the 4.
Yeah, he's going to raise this up 450 now. And this is a great spot for Kevin to go for the raise here, right? Like,
Agreed.
you've got to bet, you've got to call. Neither player showing particular strength, right? Like, there's a lot of draws available on this board, so like, if you actually really had something, you'd probably be hammering it a little bit harder. Optimize out of there, man in the middle, so tough to play. So yeah, he's just gonna let it go. And
With top pair, too.
yeah, saying no diamond in hand.
This can't feel great.
Pretty much the exact same spot that he was in just a hand or two ago, right? It's like, you might have the best hand, but like, what are you gonna do when they bet on the turn? Like, your hand never improves, right?
Never.
There's one queen out there that isn't a diamond. Like, you're never gonna hit that queen, and even if you hit the queen of diamonds, are you really that excited? Like, everything.
It feels worse because then you're waiting for the board to pair at that point. So you're only out.
Yeah. So he does let it go. Kevin here gonna win with the 6 high. Let's go.
Yeah.
Love to see
Yeah,
it.
that smelled like a naughty too. I'm a pussy. Yes! Yeah, 4-5 diamonds, that would be pretty sexy. Yes. Loving you first, baby. I love ya. Yes.
Alrighty, so hand number 22 here. With $10 straddle on. We've got a bunch of napkins hitting the bin. Dudley on the button. He's not going to raise his 980, which I think would have been fair, but Kevin will do the raisonings from the small blind Prestige will call from the straddle, and we'll go 2 players to a flop.
What an interesting flop for this.
Yeah, Kevin here. Check it over, let Prestige do the betting, and he'll oblige. 45 to go now. Played with Kevin quite a lot. Played with both of these players quite a lot. Kevin here, pretty sharp player, tends to play pretty close to GTO. And when you're out of position, you flop a good hand, but like not a great hand. Just go into check call mode. No reason to bloat this pot unnecessarily. And does indeed go for the check call on the flop. Checks it over now on the turn 7 of clubs. Prestige will check as well. So free river card.
Hand step down on the table.
Yeah, a little bit of a question about whether or not that was a check. Certainly looked like one to me.
I saw a hand go down on the table. I saw it go down twice. I called it on the table.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
whether he meant to or not, that certainly was a checking motion. Top pair here for Prestige, but Broadway for Kevin. Prestige is actually going to bet this. Picking up legitimate showdown, but he's going to bet the ace value. Just show him the 10. And Kevin will take the pot. Those spots are always tricky. Like you
Especially with the
have some-
flush as well, hitting the board.
Yeah, you kind of look at it and you're like, is it a bluff? Was it value? Not quite sure. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, to say what the right play there is. I mean, certainly I'm always a proponent of going for thin value. And this is probably something I know for sure that when I was about in, you know, I'll just try to put myself in your lens because you're a year plus into taking this game a little bit more seriously. I remember very frequently being presented with spots where I was like, I think I probably have the best hand here, but was like, I'm just gonna check it back and like just get to showdown. And like time and time again, I was just winning, and I was like, okay, cool, I'm winning. And then I was like, but wait, should I bet, right? And you kind of start to digest that a little bit and internalize it, get a little bit more experience and comfortability, and then it's like, I need to be betting these hands, right?
Yeah.
Like, yes, it opens the pot back up. Yes, I can get check raised on the river. Yes, that totally sucks. But a lot of the time, too, they just have a hand that's, like, going to pay me a little bit extra money.
Exactly.
If I just go for it.
You said you are in the ballpark?
And if you get re-raised, it's just as easy to let it go at that point.
Yeah, unless you think your opponent is just really up to no good. Yeah. Dude, yeah, those check raises on the river, oh, Lord, they almost always have it. We still try to convince ourselves they're bluffing and call like way too often, but I'll tell you what.
Thank you. All right, 10's out, one
Something
putter.
silly like 9 out of 10 times they just have it. And I'm always like, why do I give them bluffs? Like, why do I do it? Just don't have it. All right, SL and Prestige now both stuck about 1,000. Mike L still at the top of the leaderboard, but Kevin gaining because he is up almost 1,000. Jack Rivers Poker joining us says, what are you wacky poker lovers up to tonight? Well, we're enjoying some live stream poker here out of Austin, Texas. 2-5 match the stack. Welcome to the show, sir. Hope that you are enjoying yourself as well. And if any of you guys out there watching this stream are enjoying yourselves and enjoying this free content, please do help us out. Hit the like button. Make sure that you are subscribed to the channel. And sit back and relax. Enjoy the rest of the broadcast as we do another $10 PLO bomb pot.
Now, with the live stream table, are you able to opt out of the bomb pots?
Yes, absolutely. So the PLO bomb pots are, well, any bomb pot is always going to be optional at the Texas Card House locations. No one ever obligated to participate in those if you don't want to. Certainly some players going to be a little bit less comfortable playing a 4-card variant,
y'all
when
would
the
actually
standard
get
game is 2
some
cards, and that may be what they're
streamers?
most familiar with.
Is
But
that
I would
Lord
certainly
Stack
recommend,
Larry?
if anyone does sit them out and feels
Is
uncomfortable
that
with them,
Lord Stack Larry?
just give it a try. You know, like make sure that you watch a few go down. Make sure that you understand what you're getting yourself into. Know that you must play 2 cards and only 2 cards from your hand. But it is so much fun. Those bomb pots are amazing. And in addition to that, as we've got players coming in for a photo bomb,
Go.
I think I know exactly who that is.
I think so too.
Oh
It's
my
so
goodness.
funny.
Can I give you a full hug? I'm gonna give you a
Yes,
full hug.
give it a try. PLO bomb pots, awesome.
bro hug.
A lot of fun.
Half
And you
bro
can make a lot of money in it.
Half bro hug five.
Definitely.
You're getting the full one, baby. Whammy.
Prestige has got to feel good
You're
having the
getting
2 queens on the top board and the one on the bottom.
This is over here. 3 players.
Signed, seared, delivered.
Absolutely right. Prestige no friend on top, so doesn't have a full house. Does have the up and down straight draw on bottom, although there is a flush out there, and Sang has it. Kevin here working with a gut shot royal flush draw on top and the set of 4s on bottom. You know, that king of clubs has already been folded, which is why it shows him at 0% equity on top. He would otherwise have about 2.5. We're saying here
8 calls, 320.
with his nut flush, just gonna call, and we are on to Kevin here. Has to decide how he wants to proceed. This is a really ugly spot to be in. You have like a decent enough hand on one board and just really not much on the other. I mean, I think this is a slam dunk fold. We'll see how Kevin plays it, but when you have just such a thin draw on top and your hand is super vulnerable on bottom, right? Like, let's say he improves to a full house. Is he going to love it?
No.
Bottom boat, it's not great.
Kevin
Kevin does make the call.
Does it cost?
And does need to improve to a full house on bottom if he is going to get half of the pot. Prestige here, a massive favorite to take down the top board, barring a 7 or an ace.
3 players.
9 of diamonds is a brick, and so is the deuce of hearts. No board pair on bottom for Kevin, so this is going to be a chop between Prestige and Sang if we get to showdown between those 2 players. Prestige first to act. Still just playing the trip queens. He knows that no one can have a better queen because there just aren't any. Does lose to pocket 5s, pocket aces, and some random pocket 9s that how on earth do you get in there at this stage of the hand with 9s, but certainly 5s and maybe even aces a possibility. Sang here knows that he has the stone colds on bottom and is just sort of going to tank for a little bit before he calls to try to induce a call from Kevin.
850.
Guess we had the chip counts just a little bit off. It sounds like it's a bet of 850 here from Prestige, not 1.1K. So perhaps had something go a little bit awry earlier. But Sang here with no incentive to raise is just going to make it seem like he's uncomfortably side calling with the nuts before he puts his chips in. See if he can bait Kevin into a call.
And there it is.
8 calls, 1 fold.
Yeah, but a snap fold here from Kevin as he has improved to nothing on top and pretty much nothing on bottom.
Alright, so I'm going to be looking
These 2 players going to hack it up.
first bottom board, top board.
To the tune of 1,700 apiece.
7.
And this is one of the things that will be a little bit intimidating to some of the newer players to the PLO bomb pots. You got all of your money in, every dollar you had in front of you, and you won 230 bucks.
such great value.
I will say, though, on occasion, you scoop that thing, and all $3,400 belong to you. Now, that feels a little bit differently than making $200 because you just made $1,900. So,
I have definitely heard some stories about making some money on these Pilo bomb pots.
absolutely right. I got into a massive like 4-way all-in bomb pot the other day on the flop, and did manage to scoop it. So it does happen. It is a rare occurrence, but when it does happen, especially in those big spots, you turn your day around, that's for sure.
Feels really good. All it takes is that one hand at that point.
Oh, absolutely. That's the thing, right? Like, okay, you can always make your day in one big hand playing No Limit Hold'em, but it's usually like a big cooler or something, right? Like
Yeah.
a set over set, or maybe like a flush over a straight or something. It's just kind of nasty. It doesn't come around all that often. The bomb pots, we're doing every orbit. We're doing it on dealer changes, right? Like every once in a while, someone can just call out an emergency bomb pot, and if everybody agrees to do one. Like there's just bomb pots come around, and that's a real opportunity. To
Wait,
get a lot of money.
what is this emergency bomb pot?
Hey man, it's an emergency. We gotta play a bomb pot. What else? What else do you need? Those are pretty infrequent because it only takes one person to beat an emergency bomb pot. But a lot of the players around here, especially in Austin, they love their bomb pots. So you even suggested you probably get one. All right, heads up between Prestige and Chris. Chris here, still out in front with the queen high. But Prestige with 3 cards to a straight and 3 black cards, 2 red ones, is going to go ahead and just lead out for $55. It's like a suit, a colorful house. I don't know. He wins nonetheless as queen high, not interested in continuing. Chris W up $2, Fish Cake up $12. Between those two, they can take a trip to Taco Bell.
Sounds like a good time.
Absolutely right. Taco Bell is where I will be going after the stream. My usual post-stream extravaganza. Treat myself to some delicious burritos from Taco Bell. Do you ever foray into the fast food atmosphere?
Occasionally, upon occasion.
Occasionally. Is
Yeah.
Taco Bell, where's that in your rankings?
You know, like it's top 5 for sure.
Top 5. That sounds like Taco Bell is not your favorite place to go when it comes to fast food. What's number 1 for you?
I mean, I would probably go with Wendy's.
Okay. All right.
It's not a problem.
A little bit of Wendy's.
Yeah.
Okay. I used to say that Wendy's would have been one of my like top ones, and then it just really fell out of favor for me. I don't know exactly when it happened, but I don't know. The Junior Bacon Cheeseburger, probably because when it stopped being $1, it went up to like $1.29, and then after that, I don't even know what it is now. It's like $14 for JBC.
I remember the good old days when you could get a taco for like 10 cents. So
Yes.
I mean-
Yes. 29 cents, I think, was the last time I had a Wendy's taco. Good Lord.
wait, no, I'm talking about Taco Bell.
Oh, no, wasn't it? What? Okay. No, it wasn't Wendy's. It was, there was another one of those, like burger places where you could get a taco from it, though.
Oh, it was,
about?
is it Jack in the Box?
Jack in the Box, I think that's right. I think there was even another one. Oh, God, what was it? Was it
Could you get tacos from Burger King?
There was another one. I swear to God, I know. Yes, I think Jack in the Box is for sure. I think you can still do it.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
But there was another one where I think they discontinued it. Anyways, in my mind, you were talking about a Wendy's taco.
No.
You were talking about Taco Bell.
Back in the day, it was the greatest because you'd go to Taco Bell, you'd bring them $20, and you'd get like a couple bags full of tacos. It was amazing.
Yeah.
Best way to feed your friends.
We've definitely got a hand going here. Of course, Chris is just infinitely far out in front as we had a raise to 40. Big 3-bet here from Chris pre-flop, as I think we had a raise in between. Only Sang making the call, and we get this 3 overcard flop to Sang's pair of 8s.
This can't feel good.
At the same time, it's kind of like you knew that this was going to happen a lot of the time, and this is just like the easiest fold ever. So, you know, it's almost worse when you see like king 4 deuce, and you're like, I think I probably have to stick around for another street and put more money out there. So Jack Rivers here says Jack in the Box for sure, and Kevin Brown says Burger King.
Burger
yeah,
King.
I did think that there was another one. I think that's right. I think it was Burger King. Yeah. But yeah, so I don't know. There's something about tacos and burritos that just mesh with me a little bit better. I think, you know, I've learned to listen to my body a little bit more.
Sure.
And just like beans, rice, and like ground beef or whatever, just that's a little bit more pure. Whereas like the bun and infinite layers of mayonnaise and shit, whatever they're putting on these burgers these days is just a little bit much.
Got the pickles.
I
Got
do
all
love
sorts
pickles.
of.
Pickles are fine, but
Okay.
you know, 14 ounces of mayonnaise on one like dollar menu burger is a little bit much. And I feel like both Wendy's and the chicken sandwiches from other places tend to just way overdo it on the menu.
Sure. Have you had the fries from Taco Bell?
Oh, yeah, they're like nacho fries or
Yeah.
whatever. I honestly have not. I don't know what I'm missing out on or why I haven't, but
They were pretty great.
I mean, check it out. They got like that cheesy dipping sauce.
Oh, they do. Yeah.
Made from 100% like manufactured ingredients.
Yeah. Very healthy. Oh, 7-2 getting folding.
What are they
7
thinking?
deuce. Oh.
Some spicy hands here as the 8 of spades, 8 of hearts instantly making an appearance once again. Dudley holding it this time. Very tempting to call here. I mean, you've got to see a flop. Dudley will indeed put the chips out there. 3 players. Mike L not raising, not 3-betting with the ace king. Or 4-betting, whatever I guess it was to him. Out of the straddle, I guess it would have been a 4-bet. Yeah.
This is very sneaky. Oh,
High 2-tone with clubs from Mike L.
7-bet, 125.
Mike L. Donk leads out here. Dudley pitches 3rd pair, and Kevin is out of there. Insta win for Mike L. Let's go. Jack Rivers up to 89 TCH Live loyalty points, the most he has ever had. Congratulations, sir. Welcome to the big leagues.
I have to start earning some points.
Yeah, all you have to do is chat, participate in the chat, make sure that you are subscribed or you will not be accruing those points. You also won't be able to chat if you're not subscribed, so sort of go hand in hand there. And then once you get up to 10, you can gamble. And if you win, then you can continue. You go back to 0, then you'll have to continue chatting to get back up to 10. And you must have at least 10 to participate.
2-bet, 35.
But yeah, it feels good. You know, you gamble your 10, you get it up to 20.
Okay.
And
then
maybe
30.
if you're feeling a little cautious, you keep it at 10 to make sure that you don't just dump your roll. But maybe you spin it up a little bit further, and then you can decide to up the stakes a little. Before you know it, you've got 89. And you're a big baller, you know.
Definitely. And then one day a million.
That's right. One day to the moon. We need TCH Live crypto units that everybody can play with.
Oh, look at that. Jack 7.
Jack 7 would be pretty good. Nobody has it. Chris does have a Jack, though, which is the best hand at the moment. Check, check, check. Over to Chris with
In
the
the
Jack.
position, too.
That's 1/3. Saying here 3 to a straight flush with a pair. I don't know about you, but I'm definitely going to see a turn.
Absolutely. Especially for 50.
And saying he grabbed a big fistful of greens there and then just cuts out the call. So sort of shifting gears midway. Prestige even in here with just the ace-9. Picks up a gut shot here on the turn. Sang up and down. Fishcake is the only player that really did not improve on that turn.
3-bet, 115.
And wow, Prestige gonna lead this card. That's that 9 of spades. And a bag of chips. Oh, beef jerky.
5 call.
Delicious.
Do love me some beef jerky.
Chris W. making the call.
8 call.
Yeah, Sang is gonna come along.
This can't feel great for Prestige right now.
Yeah, I mean, so pot now up to 700, and Prestige with the betting lead here. He definitely blocks the 8-9 for the nut straight. Doesn't have a whole lot else going for him, though. And now the queen of diamonds on the end. Queen 10, you know, weirdly enough, would have improved to the best hand, but Chris will show down the best hand if we get there. Betting option is on Sang. He is weighing his options, but a little bit weird. We've already had a betting lead change twice in this hand. For him to just lead out now would be quite odd, and I think he's already. No, he is going to go for it.
Yeah. He's back there, having to pull his hair out.
350 here from Sang. With the 8 of clubs in hand, blocking that same 8-9 straight that Prestige blocked. And Prestige, you could tell he was like, no, I'm the one representing the 8-9. You're not supposed to come out betting here. And he sort of reluctantly fold.
And this does put Chris in an interesting spot, too.
It really does. I mean, what do you do here with what was top pair on the flop, and now the queen comes, right? Like you were beating the hell out of queen jack, and now you aren't. Is that the concern that you have if you're Chris W, right?
I mean, there's a lot of things Chris could have here as well.
$350, so about half pot into 2 players, right? So this looks quite strong. This very much looks like Sang is just, I've got 2 pair, I've got maybe
I've got
even
a
the
straight already, yeah.
Sure enough, gets it through. Chris here can't find the call button, and Sang gonna get away with this one. I mean, he had the second best hand of the 3 players remaining, but kind of a funky line, and just makes it work with the brute force. I like it. So after that hand, Sang here is going to take over the second spot. Mike here still up 2K, SL and Prestige down 1,000. Nobody up or down Taco Bell money any longer.
You can definitely hit up the fancy places now.
Yeah, you're like, you know, we're gonna be minus some electricity next month, or you know, we can step it up, you know, go to a nice sushi place or something.
1 call, 2 call, 3 call, 4-bet, 45.
Let's see. So you've been in Austin for how long now?
About 4.5, 5 years.
Okay, all right. So you've been here for a little bit longer than me. So do you have your favorite spots around town?
Absolutely. They've changed a few times over the years. It used to be Taco Bell.
Okay, all right. Your palate has improved slightly.
It has.
Okay.
We're up to Wendy's now.
Wendy's, that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
That's right. Oh, good Lord. There's no chance Wendy's belongs a tier above Taco Bell. I'm just going to say it now.
What? Okay.
I mean, for you personally, you know, live your best life. But I think in an overall standpoint, I don't know. I'm a little bit biased, obviously.
All right. Agree to disagree.
Sure. But what do you like to eat around here?
I mean, there's some really great sushi restaurants, actually.
Okay.
Speaking of sushi,
Favorite
I love.
sushi joint?
I love Sushi Fever. I love
I don't know if I know that one.
Uchiko. I mean, those are the standards.
Sure.
But yeah, Sushi Fever, in my opinion.
Sushi Fever. Where is
Yeah,
this located? Is this
Cedar
downtown?
Park.
Oh,
Yeah.
up north in Cedar Park.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll have to check that out. Okay.
3 fold.
Yeah, when it comes to sushi, Uchiko definitely,
Yeah, 9 folded.
I mean, just super, super good, right? Hitting up the happy hour is, of course, the way to go.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, you get to sample everything at a little bit better price point. Optimized here, waking up with the ace king in the small blind. He is going to put in a large raise to 500. So we'll come back down to earth here for just a moment as we had an open.
6 fold.
145 and a call. SL here out of the way. Back over to Sang. Pretty sketchy place to go digging for sets.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's only 355. Pot will go up to 1150, 1170. So
A little bit of dead money.
you're getting a decent enough price if you factor in pot odds, but implied odds, but a little bit sketchy. Does get to play in position, has that added benefit, but yeah, he's letting this go.
8 fold.
Give himself the pat on the back.
What is on
Oh, we've got some hot takes in the chat here. We got Wendy's #1 and then followed immediately by Wendy's is terrible. So we're setting the battle lines here.
Panda Express #1.
Ooh, Turtle with a hot take. Panda Express, I did used to really enjoy Panda Express. Nowadays, I think if I went there for anything, my body would instantly reject it. I'm sure it probably rejected it in the past as well, but very delicious, tasty food.
You know, I'm more of a Fireball. Have you checked out Fireball yet?
Fireball, no.
Yeah,
It's basically
similar.
equivalent.
Yeah, equivalent to Panda Express.
Gotcha. And then Jack wants to know, do they still have the restaurant shaped like a boat?
4 fold.
I'm not familiar with that.
I'm not either.
Shaped like a
6 bet.
I know that there's like a couple of restaurants like on Lake Austin or whatever, right? Like,
Definitely. I mean, there's Oasis. Well, I mean, that's further up, but there's also some closer to downtown, too. Mozart's Cafe is down there.
but I can't think of any that were shaped like a boat.
I can't either.
Maybe I was on it and so I didn't see the boat. You know, I don't know. What about barbecue? Do you have a favorite barbecue spot? Is that your jam?
You know, I do like barbecue. I tend to frequent Smoky Moe's.
Smoky Moe's. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
I wouldn't say it's my favorite.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a hole in the wall kind of local spot that I agree. It's not going to challenge the top barbecue places, but convenience is always going to be key.
Definitely. I do enjoy Black's Barbecue. I've been told, I haven't been there yet, Valentina, I think, is another one.
Okay.
I do like Lambert's as well.
Lambert's. I don't know
Yeah,
if I've even
that
heard of
one's downtown. They have amazing brisket.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay. Have you tried Interstellar Barbecue?
I have not.
That one is fire. It is a little bit north of here, not even that far north of here, probably. It's at it's Lakeline Mall, so 2 exits north of here at TCH Austin, and then a little bit west. Absolutely fantastic. The pork belly there is to die for.
I will definitely check it out.
Yeah, it is super worth it. Prestige here with the Jack 7. He's got a pair on bottom. But other than that, Jack 7 not doing too hot out there right now. Get the rest of these cards scanned in. We've got
Ooh,
spades
Jacks.
in several players' hands, so a lot of draws on bottom for that flush.
Curious your take on it. Chris W. has 3 spades. How would you feel going into a flush draw with 3 spades?
Yeah, honestly, and Kevin has it too. So whenever you have the 3, certainly a little bit discouraging. But the fact that the top board has no spade, to me, it's a little bit less of a problem. And especially if you're more like Chris, where you've got 3 spades, but none of them are the ace. makes you feel a little bit better because it's less likely that someone does have the ace-x of spades out there just because you're kind of cutting down on the combos that could exist. So I would feel better about it if I was whoever it was, Chris there, than I would if I'm Kevin. If I'm Kevin here, I'm like, all right, this hand is just like super lame because yes, I'm still drawing to the nut, but like I also block my outs. So I would need something pretty impressive on top other than just this. I mean, it's double gutty here for Kevin, so maybe he can peel one off anyways, but not after the raise. Yeah, the raise gets in and Kevin out of the way.
Definitely. I mean, the set of fives feels good on the bottom.
Yeah,
With the
yeah.
10 high board on top. I mean, I'd feel good about that.
Yeah, it's certainly a good enough hand to raise and try to clear out the field, which he does. He gets Kevin out of there, right?
Yep.
Does have a couple opportunities to outdraw Prestige as well. 10 or a queen would improve him to a better full house.
Heads up.
Does have the best hand on top. King of Diamonds changes nothing. And the queen as well. This is going to be a scooper here for SL. Improving to fives full of queens. This is going to be a little bit nasty here for Prestige as he goes all in as well. Not too sure. I guess, I mean, okay, so he just presumes that he's going to have the best hand on bottom and therefore can try to push his opponent off of, you know, some sort of two-pair holding or whatever it might be on top.
6 call. Showdown.
But
There's the call.
SL going nowhere, makes the call, and Prestige is going to get stacked here. 3.3K in the middle as Prestige is going to realize that river absolutely destroyed him.
5-4
Bottom.
board, sorry. 5-4 queens, top board, 10, top board, 18.
Pair of tens. Yeah, Prestige there, up and down. Straight draw, had a gut shot. So many things
Just
working on top, but just
so
couldn't
many.
get there.
5, 6, 7, no 8, no queen.
Yeah, it's always a delicate balancing act in these bomb pots to not only know, like, okay, I probably have one board, or, you know, it's always nice when you have the nuts. I definitely have one board, so let me just pot it and really put them to the test, and they could fold a much better hand on that other board, and then I'll scoop the whole pot. And then simultaneously to that, walking that thin line of like, okay, my hand is probably good enough on this board, but do I really want to go for it, or do I want to just go for like more of a check call and just hope to get the showdown and win my half of the pot that I think I deserve?
Definitely. And it seems like we've seen a lot of aggression on the river in the bomb pots here.
Yeah, and certainly I would say the ones that we've seen the most aggression in SL has been involved in both of them. So he's going to scoop this one. And that moves him all the way out of the red there. SL was down 1,000 after that pot.
Oh my goodness.
600. And in second place here on the leaderboard. Prestige still with a white chip and his standard assortment of large denomination bills from other nations. Brings for good luck, I presume. Is going to come back in with the rebuy. He's got something like a 10 billion note from Zimbabwe or wherever, from when they were going through hyperinflation. So, some fun ones.
That's awesome.
You have 20s on.
No, I'm just having
He's not going to rebuy into this hand, so we will bypass him. Optimize putting the 20 on.
Yeah, no, you got me all over the 6, 7 call. Trying to keep track of my table, so I keep track of your job. So kinds of things. Fish cake.
We'll
8 bets,
over and around to
85, 9
Sang, who's going to put in a chunky raise here, 85 on the $20 straddle. Playing from the button. I'm just going to power this one for the taker. So obviously, pretty big strategy difference between tournaments where you're going to be doing a lot more short stack play and omega ultra deep stack play that we have in the cash games here in Texas. How do you feel about your game when it comes to early stage tournament where you're playing with a lot of chips, all the way down to when you're playing with 10, 20 big blinds pretty consistently.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely depends on the style of game. Obviously we do a lot of freeze outs here in Texas, so I tend to play a little bit safer whenever it comes to the freeze outs. But rebuy tournaments, let's go. Let's have fun. Let's push with Jack 7 and see where we get.
Well, we've established that's just a good hand. So okay.
Absolutely, yes, the best hand. No.
Right on. Yeah, it's always interesting to me how relative newcomers adapt to tournament strategy, because I'd say that there are some players that just sort of have like a natural inclination to just be like, let's go for it. Like,
Yeah.
I want chips. I'm ready to go. And then you'll have other players that just have a natural sort of inclination to be like, no, I'm holding on for dear life. I have 7 blinds over here, and I'm not giving them away for free.
No.
Like, and just kind of blind down much maybe more significantly than another player is even willing to consider. It's like, I don't want 7 big blinds. Screw that. I'd rather bust.
Yeah.
And go do something else with my life than sit on 7 big blinds for another orbit. And finding that balance in between of how to navigate the short stack, especially in ICM sort of scenarios, and also play for the big chip stack, play for the ability to make the deep run to the big money, is something that you just kind of have to figure out on the fly as you get used to playing in these big, large, especially the big multi-table fields.
Definitely. And it's an evolution too. You start playing and you're used to being very nitty. I think a lot of players come in and they start very nitty, and eventually you get to a point where you experiment a little and try new hands out, and it definitely opens up the door for what it looks like later on down the road.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I certainly came from that vein. It's pretty rare when you see someone come into the game and just try to win every hand, and just they're just instantly bluffing and feeling like fine about it. That is pretty rare. I certainly didn't come from that approach. But man, it's just such a great feeling to come from that nitty place and then open up a little bit and start getting wins in pots that you never would have won before. You're just like, let's go. This is the best game ever.
It's when I realized Jack 7 was amazing.
There it is. All right. She's been bluffing with that Jack 7 too much. If anybody's ever in a pot with Kristen, she does Jack 7 and she's bluffing.
It's true.
All right, we got a bet of 500 here from Sang. He raised the flop with Fish Cake being the pre-flop aggressor. Very unorthodox line. He's going to continue betting this turn and does get the best hand, pocket queens, to lay it down. Sang here.
Wow.
Showing us how aggression can take over. It's really pretty challenging to identify what hand Sang is going to do this with. Like, Sang shouldn't have any ace-king, because that's generally going to be a re-raise pre-flop. So what is he raising there? Ace-9 suited? There's only 3 combos of that.
I mean,
outside of that, it's like a set of 9s or quad 3s. So, okay, 3 combos of ace-9. 3 combos of 9s.
Strong possibility. I mean, pairs tend to happen pretty frequently across the board whenever someone else has a pair. So if I'm holding pocket queens and someone re-raises me, I'm thinking they either have an overpair or they hit a set on that.
Yeah, but I mean, going back to the pre-flop action, right? Like, kings doesn't make sense. They would have re-raised.
Oh, yeah.
And then ace-king would have re-raised. So then you hard block ace-queen, and does ace-queen even raise and try to get all the money in? Like, that was clearly Sang's sort of intent, or at least what he was projecting. It's really tough to think. You kind of just narrow it down to exactly ace-9, pocket 9s, and 1 combo of quads on the turn for 3s. It's just not a lot of hands. And there's hearts out there, right? So my more natural inclination would be to put my opponent on some sort of heart draw, particularly like 10 jack of hearts, so they've got, some good playability on non-heart turns. But I don't know. Al does just let that one go. Fish Cake, of course. Just gonna let that one go. And as we were just talking about kings, there they are. Here for Kevin. single raised pot.
Nah, it's all. I'm about to get up.
Sang is going to try to peel off a set on the turn here. Thinks his hand might be good some of the time. This card will actually not be that threatening. Pretty much still just loses to an ace. It's a bad card for Kevin.
Check.
I suspect he's going to check this back. Really tough to continue betting for value or with a bluff when the second card on board pairs. It's just like, you just never have that. 10 of clubs here on the end, safe for Kevin. Let's see if Sang goes for another big bluff here.
He's got the stack. Just checks it.
Yeah, and Kevin just going to check it back. No real reason to expect his opponent could call with worse. Maybe a hand like King 10 or Queen 10 that had, you know, maybe especially like King 10 or Queen 10 of spades. Certainly a hand that you could think would be in there, right? You don't block that with the King Hearts, King of Clubs. But it's just such a thin couple of hands that could even think about paying you off. And the size would have to be so small that you open the pot for like barely any value. I think the check back there perfectly reasonable there from Kevin, just takes it down. All right, so Prestige just getting a little bit of air here, going to take a few hands off, but we do see some dollars in front of his stack, so he certainly will be rejoining us here momentarily. L here first to act, and 5x open. King, Queen of Hearts.
One fold.
Getting a call.
125. Four fold.
Oh, Mike made it 40. He must have announced the 40 as he put the 2 green chips out. Still a relatively large open, but Fishcake is going to attack it with a 3-bet with the King 10 up.
Yeah.
300. 7-bet 300.
I mean, you know, she obviously was late or whatever, but if you could get her. Yeah, I have to put her on there, but I know that, yeah.
Mike L coming in with top pair here.
All right, yeah, good flop here for Mike L with the top pair. Fishcake turning, or sorry, flopping the up and down.
2 call.
Wow. Wow. Bet a 500 and a call here. This hand is
Getting spicy.
very spicy. This pot up to 1,800. Fishcake has $500 left. Is that true, or do we have a miscount on his stack?
7-bet 500.
Mike L all in. Fishcake lays it down.
Yeah.
I mean-
Fishcake did indeed make that call with barely anything left. He just needed to improve to continue. And
All right, everybody, that is my time. Thank you all very much. Everybody, much appreciated.
wow. So yeah, Al playing that one,
Thank you, Mikey. Good luck
burning
to
it down to the
everybody.
wick. You know, maybe we could get there, and
Should be right.
doesn't quite bring it home. Mike L shipping another big one. Look at that, up almost
They're all
3K.
They're gonna do block out there. Thank you, guys.
Definitely having a good night.
Absolutely.
Taking stack lead now too.
All right, Russell going to step out of the box here as we
Oh.
are at the halfway point of the evening. If we get Jesse in here. Is indeed Jesse stepping into the box. Sling cards for the next couple of hours. Thank you guys all so much for tuning in. If you haven't already and you would like to do so, help us out. Hit that like button. It does always improve our exposure on the interwebs. Prestige here, waiting for the dealer change to get back in on the action. So he will reload to the tune of $1,000 and see if Jesse can turn his luck around.
Your job for $1.
Prestige definitely started the night very strong, taking on the first pot too.
Players checks live stream.
Barrel.
Yeah.
What?
Does that count?
You know what? You know what? If you say Phil on stream, on the TCH live stream, that's going to be $3.
That's where the other dollar comes.
It's going to be 3 because there's greater risk of job loss.
So are we going to see another bomb pot with the dealer, new dealer, or is this
Yeah,
just
yeah.
okay?
We've got, looks like $90 out there in the middle.
They pay for it. Yeah, they paid a lot for it.
You know, it's all in what you pay for. If I had walked in here and been like, hey, you should change it to barrels, it'd be like, that's the stupidest thing ever. But if I charge him $10,000 all of a sudden,
Take their money.
It looks like we
wow, that's brilliant. Yeah, everyone start saying barrels.
All right, a couple of boards out here. 10, 9, 5, rainbow, jack 4, deuce rainbow on the bottom. It always does take a minute to get all these cards scanned in, and then, of course, they spill off the screen. But Sang has a pretty juicy looking hand, as he's got up and down straight opportunities on top and top set on the bottom board. Mike L here has just an up and downer with a couple of pairs.
fish cake having the set on the bottom,
Yeah, and the
top pair on the top.
Oof, and drawing dead now on the turn, as we can see that he will not be. Oh no, that's because we don't have the card right in. I was like, what happened to his hand? But there we have it. Queen of clubs on bottom. Oh, he's drawing dead because there's no 4s left in the deck. Of course, that makes sense.
Agreed.
Sang here with the set of jacks still well out in front, and does in fact pick up the nut straight on top and even clubs to go along with the set of jacks on bottom. So
This
Sang
is the
here-
dream.
Yeah. And this is about how Sang ran in the tournament last night as well. We played the bounty tournament, which
Yeah.
I was sad that you weren't in there because you were the reigning champion from the weekend before. But Sang was absolutely dusting people. Like, you couldn't beat him. You got your chips in against Sang, he was going to take them. And he is lining himself up to take this one down as well.
Seems like the sun run is continuing.
Fishcake does make the call there. Prestige calling as well. Does have a gut shot to a superior straight, but currently working with that 5 to 9 straight and well behind. Mike L does make the call. He's got the bad diamonds. He's got 2 pair. He's got the straight draw on bottom. There's a bunch of things going on. But Sang well out in front here, looking to scoop this if he can fade some rivers. Does not fade on top.
Flush hits, so
Yeah.
king queen. Gonna take it.
Mike L here improves to the butt flush on top. Does not make a straight on bottom, thankfully enough for him, as that would certainly entice him to stick around.
Curious to see how Sang plays this. Coming in with a bet of 700 here. Called by Fish Cake with the set of 4s on the bottom. Prestige with the nut flush on the top. Miguel can't feel good about this right now. Not with 3 in, at least. Playing with the chips, like maybe we'll get a call here.
Yeah, it's just such a tough spot. I mean, it's like, how good can you ever be? All these people already putting the money in. Good fold, Mike L. Yeah, trying to just let that one go. And Fish Cake here, just playing that little set, is going to get scooped. Prestige and Sanguito is going to chop it up. Tough night here for Fish Cake. Already had one big hand to go south just a moment ago against Mike L. This time in the bomb pot, things going to go upside down as well, and get chipped down to 540. So we'll look for Flounder to rebound here as we get back to the 2-card game. All right, as Jesse chops this pot up real quick, I'm going to go ahead and step out, use the restroom. I'll be back in just a minute.
Doing lovely.
Mike L still on top in the earnings tonight.
That's how you get over it.
I turned the straight. But I mean, like, even if I had it, like, instead of 325, you would have called it, right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And it's 8 and 5.
How's everyone doing tonight?
I had 2 pair on top and a straight flush draw.
Sands leading out with King 9 suited.
That was a big diamond.
Looks like Dudley's going to call with Ace 10 of diamonds.
Thought the odds were pretty small.
Chilling, nice. Call from Chris W with King Queen. Flushed board. Right out of the gate. Top pair for Dudley.
Yeah, a little
Back door.
something for everybody.
Yeah. 9 for Sam.
So I'm a little cold. I might be like shaking it.
Checks all
Dudley just
around.
going to check his top pair here,
Yeah.
though. Gives a free turn card to his opponents. Just an 8 of diamonds, though, doesn't change anything. Now Chris, with everybody checking through on the flop, yeah, definitely time to attack. And for a small size, 140, doesn't feel like he needs to go too big, as his opponents have sort of shown some weakness. Now, a little bit interesting to see how Sang handles this spot. Small bet, he's got second pair. Wouldn't somebody have bet an ace already, you know? Yeah, why not? See a turn.
Definitely. Especially with the flush draw still? I mean, not dead yet.
Yeah, I mean, you could be, but at
Yeah.
the same time, there's certainly plenty of opportunities for your opponents to have that draw. But yeah, Dudley, when you check the flop, you can't go folding to a single bet on the turn. So he does make the call. And let's take a river. 4 of clubs. Pretty good card here for Dudley. And as long as he holds on and does not fold, he will be taking this down. If the graphics are to be believed, he's got less than pot remaining. Chris here now with a decision as to whether or not he wants to go for it into 2 opponents that have already called his bet on the turn. And he does. For big size, 650.
Puts Dudley all in on a flush board too. The only top pair.
Set of 8s makes a full house. Set of 9s, probably not going to play it this way, but could. Actually checks through on the flop and then bets small on the turn. Yeah, you probably bet big with a set of 9s on the turn. Even a set of 8s. So honestly, this line doesn't make a lot of sense for a full house. And Dudley here, pretty uncomfortable, but can he find the call off for all the chips and find himself as the recipient of a nice 2K plus pop?
I feel your pain, Dudley.
Yeah, this is a little bit tricky. He under-repped his hand by checking the flop, though. He pretty much only loses to a flopped flush.
A flop flush.
Maybe his opponent could have something like ace-jack with a jack of spades or something. And it's just
Ace-9
like,
with a
I'm
blocker,
always
too.
good, and let me just put this guy all in. With, I mean, it just doesn't make a lot of sense. But can Dudley sniff it out? While Dudley thinks, I'll answer this question here in the chat. We got James Presley asking, what's the average amount of hands a stream? It really varies a lot. I would say that the average is somewhere around 90 on Mondays for this 2-5 game. Tend to have players taking a little bit more time. We see many more single raise pots, a lot of calling, so more multi-way action, which tends to take more time. So usually don't get quite up to or over 100 hands, but if there's a little bit more action, the players are raising, 3-betting, 4-betting a little bit more often, then we can get up over 100 hands. But I hope that answered your question. Dudley here, still in the tank. Seemingly right on the edge. I presume that like ace-jack plus is just already in, right? Ace-queen.
Absolutely. Oh, and
go.
makes a call.
Dudley makes the call. Gonna get the double up. And yeah, $2,004 reduce going that man's way. Nice call.
Gotta be feeling good right now.
Absolutely. There's nothing quite like calling off and being correct. You know? You were the one put to the test. You're in, you know, in the tank, trying to figure it out. Find the call, and your opponent's like, ah, good call. You're like, let's go. We got him. All right, looking at the chip counts and the earnings there. Mike L up 2.5K. Dropped down a little bit from his peak of about 3, but Fish Cake and Prestige stuck the most. You can see everybody else in between. Sang there making a pretty good run as well. 1.7K of profit. Feels pretty good. He's going to flip the chair around there and play seat backwards.
The dealers do a really good job.
Absolutely. TCH Austin employing only the best in Austin.
Oh, Prestige hitting the set on the flop. Not much for Sang here. Oh, oh, this is where things get spicy. Flush draw now for Sang.
Yeah, Sang here has shown a penchant for going after these spots, but he's going to check it over.
He said my heart is
Can't imagine
racing.
Prestige sitting on this now.
Yeah.
There it is.
I bet. That's a little dangerous. Of course, you can put $5 down.
I just wanted to.
I'm sorry. If that's no.
Let's see here. Kenny Goodman wants to know, is there a delay? Yes, 15 minutes. So we are watching
I check.
this live with y'all, but this did occur 15 minutes in the past to protect the integrity of the game, as Lancernaut says in the chat.
Man.
Check out that flop.
Prestige here will bet once again here on the end and take it down.
I would have gotten out of there on the flop. Then I turned the diamond draw.
Everybody wearing black this evening. I mean, we've got 5 players in this view that are all wearing black. I mean, Jesse's of course wearing black. That's the TCH uniform. But I think Kevin.
I mean, like.
Oh,
wearing
we got a blue shirt?
Yeah, we do have blue down. Yeah, we've got our real color diversity down
I
on
mean,
the right side of the
We're
table.
even matching in the commentary booth too.
Yeah, black and blue. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Well, okay. Team blue, let's go.
Team Black, let's go.
You outnumber us, though. This is unfair. Ooh, Optimize, also an unfair holding. Number 1.
Oh,
Here. Love to see this when you raise with aces. Insta 3-bet. Let's go. Build this pot up. Mike L. cold calling out of the small blind with 2 red 10s. More dead money in the middle.
threes.
Yeah, 3s went by the wayside, but back over to Optimize. Yeah, Jesse here preemptively pulling the chips into the middle, thinking that this was a call. But no, the option is, of course, on Optimize. He will be raising. Can't not 4-bet with pocket aces when you have a 3-bet and a call in between. Or at least it's not recommended.
Definitely not.
Very small sizing on the 4-bet here. from
275.
Optimize.
Are we just juicing the pot here? I mean,
This one's a little bit weird. So obviously aces are just so far ahead of your opponent's ranges that it's okay to go 3 ways. And at the same time, you can get your opponents to put more money in than this size. I think the 275, my guess is that Optimize missed, like, didn't carry the 1 or something in his arithmetic, his mental arithmetic. Because I think 275 is just far too small. Chris here, of course, just has a trivial call, knowing that Mike L is just going to call like 100% of the time. Of course, that's exactly what happens. And 3 of the deeper stacks at the table are going to clash in an $840 pot, queen high, 2-tone. Chris here in a tough spot now with the top pair, second kicker, but well behind the overpair.
check from Mike. Queen is a little scary here, especially with all the action pre-flop.
Yeah, and the range advantage just solidly in the hands of both Optimize and Chris here. Mike L basically playing, you know, flop a set or some sort of up and downer or GTFO. Optimize here with 840 in the middle, going to bet 475, so a little bit over half pot. And if you're Chris, you definitely don't love this. I mean, that small, like, tickle 4-bet pre, it feels like it could definitely be aces. But it's also a little bit weird. You're like, could it be something else? I don't know what that is. It's going to make the call. So all is well in the world of Optimize so far. Getting this extra value. I think if you're Mike L, you just kind of have to ditch this. I mean,
Yeah.
it's so hard to improve. You have two clean outs, right? You have the 10 of diamonds, so like any 10 that comes is going to be safe for you to improve to what is most likely the best hand. But I mean, it's 2 outs. You can't make a backdoor straight. Your backdoor flush is pretty bad, all things considered. Mike, though, pained by this decision.
I mean, really, only queen beats you here? I mean, outside of top pairs,
Yeah, the overpairs, right?
over pairs.
Yeah. Yeah, but man, a bet from the pre-flop 4 better and a call.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
I mean, this is a little scary. This might scare some folks off for sure.
yeah, I mean, honestly, this is a great card for Chris and for Mike. The fact that Mike is still in here is a great card for him as well, as they will certainly not be proceeding with any amount of abandon at this point. Optimize now has to try to decide how best to approach this. I mean, stack to pot ratio is under 1 for him. So like a jam is certainly reasonable, but at the same time, it's really tough to think of hands that will call you. He has the ace of diamonds, so he really hard blocks the diamond flush draws. So he's kind of up against like king jack of diamonds or nothing when it comes to diamond draws. So checking here, perfectly reasonable. And Chris, who has picked up the spade flush draw here, I think this is a mandatory check. Like, you just need to see that river without any chance that you get blown off of your hand.
Coming in top pair with the spade draw.
Ooh, yeah.
I mean,
Chris goes a different direction. Zigging when I would zag, but 700 now. 725, I should say. Is the bet. Spectacular hand developing here.
this almost feels like a feeler bet. Trying to test the waters to see, does anyone have an ace here? Because, I mean, you have outs.
Yeah, but that's sort of the... I mean, so, of course, I speak from my own perspective, and this is, you know, always going to be up for interpretation, but small bets that reopen the pot when the stack to pot ratio is already so shallow are looked upon unfavorably by the solver because of this exact scenario. Your opponent can go all in and you're basically forced to call, but every time they go all in and you're forced to call, you're behind. So you really sort of only open yourself up to really devastating and terrible river decisions or re-raised decisions like this one where he does have to call when you could have possibly gotten to a river scenario where you didn't have to get there, right?
Yep.
For all of the money. Now, of course, Chris may have just always been paying this off on the end. It's not exactly clear, but Optimize gets paid the maximum before that jack of diamonds comes off. If we see that jack of diamonds and then Optimize goes all in, Chris may not have lost the last 1865, right? So
Got it.
There's a couple of different ways you can go about this, but betting there certainly did reopen the action, got him into that scenario. And tough spot there for Chris, obviously.
Especially when he could have saw it for free.
Yeah, but again, you know, it's like you said, he has that nut flush draw. There's plenty of opportunities to take down this pot. And you could think about it the flip way, which is the spade comes, let's say it's a 10 of spades or something, and then somehow his opponent is able to fold when he goes all in with the nuts. Get the money in now, you have that chance of winning it. But as we can see, it goes, it sort of cuts both ways. A little chatter here in the chat about which direction they would go. Jack River saying, could bet, check and realize your equity. Ronnie says he had to go all in. Yeah, a couple of different ways you could have gone about that, but the small bet certainly going to be a little bit out of the ordinary when it comes to at least the GTO approach, which, and I only ever do my best to try to translate what I understand of the GTO approach because it is infinite and unknowable to its full extent. Yeah, hand number 40, and we are well past the halfway point.
Flash stream.
We really have not been churning through these hands. A lot of challenging decisions for the players and multi-way action as well.
It has been a spicy night for sure.
Yeah. Fish cake here limping under the gun with the queen 10. Prestige will raise it up. 2, Poker Monkey rolling a 1, nut low. Sorry, buddy. Good thing you have 350 million points. And by that I mean 3 million. That's still a lot. James Presley says, does TCH take each pot? I really don't know what you mean by that.
I
If
think
you're
you meant rake.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
If that's what he means, no. There is no rake here in the state of Texas. It is a private social club, so you become a member, you come on in, you pay an hourly rate to rent that chair that you see these players sitting in, and no money comes off the table. House does not benefit from the action whatsoever. Simply providing an atmosphere for players to enjoy each other's company.
I like the alternate interpretation here. Yes, they tape each hand.
Do they take? Yeah, it's like, let's just replace a letter and see where this goes. Do they make each pot? No, they definitely don't make each pot. Do they wake each pot? Somebody has to wake it up.
Yeah.
Oh boy, getting a little bit loopy here already. We're only halfway into the show. All right, Prestige here putting on the $20 straddle. Chris, who has reloaded to a sizable chip stack here, is going to raise this up to 65. Jack 9-0 here from Chris, getting a little bit frisky.
Is this a tilt raise here? With the Jack 9?
Oh, the graphics were
Oh,
incorrect.
okay,
He
okay.
raised to
I
80.
was like,
Yeah, no, it certainly could have been, right? If this is an open to 165, I was like, I don't see a black chip there, but I guess there is one. Raised to 80. Gets 3-bet by Sang, 7-6 suited. Prestige cold calls out of the straddle. And the Jack 9-0 is just gone. So Chris gets out of the way, even getting a fairly decent price. And what a flop for Sang when you 3-bet with this
I
hand.
know,
This
right?
is brilliant.
This is so hidden. Top pair, open-ended.
Yeah, and a lot of people will sort of squint at that 3-bet and be like, why are you 3-betting with 7-6 suited? This is exactly why you do it. Not just because like results, like, oh, here you go, he's flopped top pair in a straight draw. It's so that you have board coverage on flops like this one. If you're never 3-betting with cards lower than like a 10, because you only ever use your big cards, your best Broadway cards and stuff to 3-bet, well, these boards are just going to suck for you. When you mix in the 7-6 suited and you can flop some top pairs and some straight draws, that's pretty good. Check call at 225 on the flop. Now Prestige picking up the heart flush draw is going to lead the turn to the tune of 400, a little under half pot. Sang wants to get a peek at Prestige's stack. Perhaps even contemplating just shoving all in here. Top pair in a straight draw, certainly not a bad place to do it, although when your opponent leads out on the board pairing second pair, it's a little bit sketchy. They could certainly have a lot of fives. And honestly, you see this a lot, especially in tournament poker, where you have something like the second card pairing that really does not favor the initial raiser. You see the out of position player getting to lead a lot, sometimes at a very high percentage. Sang, though, is just going to make the call. Pot up to 1,700. Stack to pot ratio at about 2/3. And there is the heart. Prestige gets their ace high nut flush. And he he bets small. He's got a 2/3 jam, and he bets 400. What do you do if you're saying?
I mean, this is just what a position to be in right now.
I mean, this bet is tiny. 1/4.
Oh, reaching for the cards. Something smells off right now.
It just looks like way too good to be true. How could Prestige ever bluff here? You have like 8, 9 and just bets 1/4 pot anyways? It's like,
I mean, the board is paired right now. Flush potentially could not be good here. Unlikely.
oh, you mean like as to why Prestige
Yeah.
didn't just go all in?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know that that would be the... I think Prestige is just trying to get paid, right? I think that's, that's my guess.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Because, like, is Prestige ever going to bet 400, have saying jam, and then fold? I don't think so. But certainly, this little bet is like, call me, please. You could totally beat a busted straight draw.
Yeah, but I'm curious. Wood's saying he potentially could have hit a set here and jam. And how does Prestige feel about that?
Oh, okay. So, like, turn his hand into a bluff, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah. Bluffs of that size.
Oh,
Prestige
God.
gets paid. He gets paid. Yeah, it's just like the... Obviously, you had it. Like, you couldn't possibly bet that small and not have it. Yeah, so going for these bluffs when your opponent has 700, right? Because if saying jams, pot goes up over 3,000. Prestige literally has to put 700 into a pot that's going to be almost 4K. I don't know. I'm never folding nut flush.
That's
Like,
fair.
I'm
That's
just not
fair.
doing it. I had somebody raise me 150 on the river into a pot that was like 2K, right? Like, and of course I paid it off. I knew I was beat, but like, I can't fold. I can't fold. I have to put in the last 150.
Just like you can't fold 400. I mean,
Well, I mean, he had a pair of sevens, but
Yeah,
at the same
yeah.
time, he couldn't fold it. He didn't fold it. That much is for sure. And Prestige is going to scoop a nice little pot right there. That is going to move him back up out of the red zone. Maybe not entirely, as he was stuck quite a bit. I don't think that'll quite get him all the way up into the black, but it'll be a good chunk of the way there. We'll probably get that graphic here momentarily, as we are just trying to finish the graphics on that hand. Having a little bit of difficulty, so bear with us. Oh, like all the way up until like real time now? Oh. Okay, but then it'll get back to normal? Okay, all right, so just got an update. Sorry for the sorry for the lag, sorry for everything that's going on here, folks. We have just been informed that we're having some issues with the streaming software and everything. So unfortunately, for at least the next 15 minutes, we are going to have a little bit of some challenge to deal with. So yeah, so we're going to be
Excellent.
stuck sort of on this camera position looking at Sang and Dudley. A little bit of Mike L over there for a little while. Yeah, don't know exactly what's going on. We did have to do a little bit of a kludge just to get the stream running this evening, so you know, potentially there's a little bit of issue there. Definitely big apologies to everybody. We do want to thank you oh so much for tuning in and for sticking with us. We're gonna do our best to get through this little patch of Run Bad, and in the meantime, I think I'm just going to ask Kristen some questions, and we'll just sort of have a little chat back and forth as the poker may be a little bit tough to follow. If anybody has any questions for myself or for Kristen, please do put those in the chat. We'll do our best to get to those. And in the meantime, please just sit back, relax, and enjoy the banter. So, if you have any questions for me, please do.
I have a million questions for you.
Oh, a million. Well, let's get started.
Yes. Why Taco Bell? No, I'm kidding.
Why Taco Bell? Because it's delicious, and it doesn't ruin my gastrointestinal system. Which, for a lot of people, they would say that's sort of surprising. But honestly, it's just like 3 ingredients. It's like every item that you get there is just like beans and, you know, one of these like 3 combinations, right? Beans, rice, cheese. And then you mix and match like a tortilla or a corn, like hard taco shell or something. And then that's it. That's basically it. So kind of tough to go wrong there.
Do you remember your first poker hand?
My first poker hand?
Yes.
I definitely do not remember the exact first one, but I will tell you that the first game of poker that I learned, I was probably like, I don't know, 4 years old, 5 years old, something like that. My dad taught me how to play 5-card draw, right? So I do remember that. And, you know, just sitting around. Like, we weren't even betting, right? It was just like, try to make the best hand. So you would just trade out your cards, and then we'd all turn them over, sitting around the living room table or something. So, yeah.
Do you still play with your dad?
I have not played poker with my dad in probably, I mean, who knows how long. It goes all the way back to when we were that young, for sure. Because, I mean, you know, maybe we played off and on, like, throughout my early childhood, but after probably middle school or something, when I started like, playing sports and doing other things like having friends and activities, I mean, like, how often were we sitting around playing 5-card draw?
That's fair,
so,
yeah. Do you still play a 5-card draw?
No.
I love that game. I think it's a fantastic game, but it's tough to go back to it, right? After you get a taste for No Limit, Texas Hold'em, it's just kind of tricky. I mean, you can still play 5-card draw as No Limit, which is just kind of a crazy game. But no, of all the games that I've sort of branched out to, Deuce to 7 single draw is by far my favorite. So we play that once a week here at TCH Austin on Wednesdays. Fantastic game. Plays pretty big. We play 5-10 with a $10 button ante, and really fun game. But. All right. Just now getting word that it looks like the stream has completely died on us. We are still going to finish things out. We're going to have, you know, another sort of... Oh. Sorry, 1 second. Okay.
We're getting details on it.
So we're not even going to bother with the end of this Streamlabs session? Okay. All right, we're just going to shut it down. Okay. All right, well, just got that news here live with you guys. Turns out that the computer is just having sort of a full-blown meltdown, and we're going to probably have to do some housekeeping on that end. Do want to thank you guys all so much for tuning in. Apologize for the technical issues, but we'll see y'all next time. We will be live here tomorrow night, coming at you out of Dallas, Texas, for the quarter 50 No Limit Texas Hold'em live stream. Hope you guys do tune in for that. Look forward to seeing y'all there. For myself, Aaron McAvoy, for Kristen, thank you so much for joining me this evening.
Thank you for
it's been a lot
having
of
me.
fun. I'm sorry that this was your first go-around. Is sort of a broken stream, but, you know, we'll do it again for sure.
It's fun.
All right, for myself and for the staff here at TCH Austin, thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Adios. Good night.
Good night.